Hey guys, so Annie here, and I'm making this video for anybody who has a busy life and just wants some more organizational skills to really work their Beachbody business. So I'm going to go over like what I did to get started and how I really focused my full-time job. And I had a newborn and I had a baby, 2.5-year-old at home. And I was also working 40 hours a week, and I was trying to work on the Beachbody business so that I eventually could get my life back and be able to spend more time with my kids, because at the rate that it was going, I never, ever saw them. I dropped them off at 6:30 a.m. and I picked them up at 6 p.m. and then I put them to bed, and I would work on my Beachbody business. And I knew that had to make some short-term sacrifices in order to have long-term results and more time with them in the future. And for me, financial freedom, yes, it was my goal, but financial freedom, for me, money is just an object that is going to give you a vehicle to afford you more time, afford you more choices, afford you more opportunities to be able to travel and see your family. Because at the time when I was 27, I didn't see my family. So 2 years ago, my life was pretty insane. And this is kind of how I scheduled my day, because if I didn't, then nobody else would. And it would still be the same. Never seeing my kids, always struggling, going on, 5 to 10 years from now. All right, so let's get started. So on a typical day, on a Monday, or a Sunday, I usually would write down in my notebook, or you can use this, and I would schedule my day. So for me, I had to get up early because my kids also woke up early. So to get my workout in, I knew I needed to be a product of the product. I needed to work out, and I needed to share that. So for me, 6:30, 5:30 to 6 was usually my workout. And then I would count, so workout, post, share. Okay. So every day, that was my, deal that I did. All right. And then from 6:30 to 7, I had to be out of the house usually by like 7. So I would do whatever I needed to do on my phone. So post in groups, wall, training. Bam, done. I dropped off my kids. So usually 6:30, 8:30 was dropping off boys, driving. So I was in sales. So I was all over the place. I was in my car 90% of the time. So a lot of what I did, I wasn't sitting at a desk. I wasn't on the phone a lot, but I was on campus, and I was, had time. I worked from home too. So a lot of times what I did was I was in sales, and I would talk to professors about their programs and their products. And then I would write down everything I needed for them on a notebook. And then I would go home, and then I would have to do everything on top of that when I got home. So everything I told them I had to do. So, so that was there. Usually from, 8 to, I got home around like 5, work. Okay. Oops. Why is it not saving? 8:30. Yeah. 8:30 to like 5 o'clock was work. All right. And then, usually in here, like at lunchtime, I was able to maybe get, an hour in. So maybe a half hour. I would do invites, post healthy food that I ate. Again, I was on college campus. So can you imagine? I was eating like campus food, but I would bring my Shakeology with me. I would, talk about how I was walking, doing this, that. Let's see, 6 o'clock. I'd pick up my boys. I would get them. So this was like family time. So dinner, um, you know, boys, my husband. So the rule that I developed for my family was that I wanted to make sure that I was giving my husband some time. And, obviously, like, I never saw him. Our life was pretty crazy. So the way that I worked my business was that, and you can still probably notice me now, I would always, I do calls on Monday nights, on Tuesday nights, and Wednesday nights. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't do calls at night. That's like my family time at night. When I first started my business, I definitely worked on, Thursdays and Fridays and the weekends more, just so that I could, the first 2 years or year and a half, you're building your foundation, you're building your pipeline for coaches, for customers, you're building everything. And then you're going to have to, sacrifice some things. You're going to have to give up some things, like from, let's say, 8 to 9. This was my business, my power hour. That's when I got it done. I did what I needed to do to afford me more time in the future with my family. I made those sacrifices, and this is where a lot of coaches won't make that sacrifice to long-term results. You have to make short-time sacrifices. I, would stay up until 8 or 9. I would sometimes take three-way calls, at 7 o'clock at night. And I made sure that I was not scheduling them on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, so that I was, not totally taking over for my husband. But, I explained to him, I kept him in the loop, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm, earning more income so that eventually I can, cut back on working more so I can be home with the kids more. I can see people. And literally this exact schedule was the exact same thing I did: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Saturdays or Sundays, I usually would set up my page. So I would use Hootsuite, and I would make sure I'm posting in all my groups. I'm getting all that scheduled for the whole, week. So Hootsuite. And I would just be consistent. I was, anything that I did, like, you could do this too. There's nothing different about me or anybody else or, any of these top coaches. It's, just making sure that you're doing it, and you're doing it on a consistent basis, and you're scheduling your life so that you have time for your family, but you're making time for your business. I would do a lot of audio tapes for personal development. So I did those in the car, and, do my invites at night, do them in the morning, and then just be consistent with it. So literally this day would be copied and paste, like, from 2 years ago I did this, and now I don't have to work full time because I put in the time for 2 years so that I can afford to now stay home with my kids, which is a whole nother ballgame if you're a stay-at-home mom. So I am scheduling that because I do stay home with them full time and work this full time. But I have them in preschool from 9 to 11:30. So that's my big power hour. It's usually 9 to 11:30 in the morning. And then still Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at night. And now I have more time to, be home with them and do this too. So anyways, this is just how I schedule. You have to have a schedule. You have to be organized. You have to stick to your goals and just be consistent, because what you do on a daily basis, that one post, me posting every morning in the week morning, people know that, they look for that post. They see that I do that. They see that I'm accountable. They see that I'm there. My Hootsuites are in the posts or in the group, and you just stay consistent with it. You got to schedule in what's important for you, your family. You got to give them time. You got to give your business time, because these short-term sacrifices, they will lead to long-term success. So that's what I do. So, all right, bye. Bye, guys.